Causes of the Great War. There were many causes that triggered this event, but the main was the assassination of the Archduke of Austria Franz Ferdinand by hands of the Serbian dissident Princip, who was part of the Black Hand. This led to Germany to intervene, and later on from Russia.
World War I, or the Great War, was the first modern industrial war that happened in history, and it was expected to be a short war, but it actually became really long and extremely violent, resulting in millions and millions of deaths. There were over 65 million combatants from over 30 different countries that were fighting against each other. The battles ranged from air to sea to land. There were naval battles all around the world in places in continents like Europe, Africa, and Asia. The Triple Alliance was formed by Germany, Austria, Italy, Turkey, Bulgaria, Italy, and these were considered the Central Powers of Europe. And then the Triple Entente was formed by Britain, France, Russia, Italy, and then later the US joined in as well. The actual battles consisted of harsh conditions in which the soldiers lived in, because most of it consisted of trench warfare with the use of chemical weaponry and chemical warfare like poison gas attacks, and there were machine gun nests laying around all over the place, and airplanes and tanks attacking each other, and the only thing separating the two trenches was a vast area where nothing was located, and it was commonly known as no man's land. The Great War resulted in over 29 million casualties.
In the Treaty of Versailles, there were some important points to cover to prevent the spread of communism. One of them says that Germany, under the Article 231 of the treaty, they had to accept the blame and responsibility for the initiation or the creation the World War I. The second point was that they have to pay for all the reparations of all the damage caused by the war. The third one, in order to prevent that Germany gain power or be a very strong country, the militia was reduced to no more than 100,000 men, and no tanks were allowed. Also, Lorraine and Alsace were given back to France.
Consequences of the Treaty of Versailles. Some of the consequences of this treaty was that the big three, that were Great Britain, France, and US, decided to charge all the reparations of the war to Germany. So that's why Germany took out loans from US to pay all these war debts to the European countries. Another consequence was that the population from Germany started to facing throat situations because of the devastation of all the Great War. And the last one was the rise of the totalitarian regimes, because these leaders took advantage of these threat situations to motivate the population to create together a new era of totalitarian regimes.
Francisco Franco Bahamonde was a Spanish general and the dictator of Spain from 1939 until his death in 1975. He was born the 4th of December 1892 in a family of fishermen and died 20th November 1975. He grew up to become a part of the military forces of Spain, and he became the youngest general in Europe in the 1920s, thanks to his military experience in Morocco and other countries around the world. He had strong belief against the republic that was the replacement for the monarchy in 1931, and with his organization and the help of other Spanish generals, he planned a coup that led to the Spanish Civil War. He won the war in 1939 by himself, since the other generals died, and he was left as only leader and was supported by totalitarian regimes from Europe, like Hitler's Nazi Germany and Mussolini's fascist government. as well as Stalin's help from the USSR. He created an autocratic dictatorship with him as leader, where he mixed the monarchy with the fascist government until he died and restored the monarchy with his first successor, Juan Carlos I.
The totalitarian regime of Franco was located in the southwestern Europe in Spain.
Spain had a really tough economic period during the Franco era, one of the worst in its history. After the Civil War, it had large economic problems because gold and foreign exchange reserves pretty much had been wiped out completely. And because of the war, the devastation of the land and the destruction caused by it reduced the capacity for the country to produce industrial or agricultural goods. This caused Spain to implement an import substitution or autarky system in which it wouldn't rely so much on foreign imports and an excessive reliance on foreign armaments, because the military chiefs of the country genuinely were afraid of an allied invasion on it because it was a peninsula. The import substitution system didn't benefit Spain at all. In fact, it caused a great increase in inflation, and it lowered its gross domestic product, and it had negative growth rates. Many things were attempted to try and fix these economic problems in Spain, like the Pact of Madrid made in 1953, which helped a bit because the United States was able to inject a bit of money into the Spanish economy, but it still didn't. The inflation continued, and Spain's economy didn't really improve until later. On June 30th of 1959, Spain unveiled a new stabilization plan to help fix the country's economy by restricting demand and containing inflation, but at the same time, in a way, liberalizing foreign trade and encouraging foreign investment, so it would have more of a free trade system. This was what really caused Spain's economy to improve, and in the future for its problems to be resolved.
During Francisco Franco's time as a totalitarian leader in Spain, several ideologies were followed. The main one was nationalism. As we know, nationalism is an ideology in which the individual always puts the government or state before them, and it somehow involves getting identified to one's nation. This was a very frequently practiced ideology during Spain's totalitarian regime, thanks to Franco's ideas as a political leader.
Totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is when the state has the complete power and holds the complete authority over the society, controls the people's life, either be public or private. You are always being watched by the government, while everything that you do, they know. Whatever they told you to do, you gotta do it. You always live under their rules. And you can't make decisions by yourself. And your way of life is very strict.
One of the main causes was the chaos that followed in the wake of World War I allowed or encouraged the establishment of totalitarian regimes in Russia, Italy, and Germany. Another cause was that people were searching stability and solution to the economic difficulties of the Great Depression.
Human rights violations. There were many articles of the human rights that were violated in the regime of Franco. One of them was the article number 4, where it says that nobody shall be held in slavery. And in the 1940s, they were like 3,000 politicians held in slavery by Franco. Also in the article number 5 says that no one shall be treated in an inhuman way, and that 3,000 politicians also were treated in an inhuman way and were also punished by Franco. Then another article violated was the article 18, because the government didn't let the citizens to choose the religion they wanted to, and the Article 19 because the citizens could not express the ideas they wanted because they must follow the totalitarian regime by Franco, so they must follow the nationalist ideology Franco had. So that was another human rights violation.